Just think about, most people don't think about the last thing they think about before you go to sleep. Try to think about the last thought you think about before you fall asleep. And then wake up and see if you can remember that. Or do that, and then it might transpire into your dream. This is why they tell you to start directly thinking certain thoughts how you want to, because your subconscious mind is still running while you sleep. So if you thinking more so already, oh, tomorrow I'm gonna have a great day, this, and that, your mind is downloading like a computer, boom, boom. Oh, I want to make sure this person had a great day, whatever. And it might start to form that way. It might not happen the first day, but once you keep doing that, it's gonna eventually start to be, that's gonna be the program.
Yeah, they say like basically practice what you saying, and you can eventually control your dream. Like tonight, I want to dream this. Tonight, I want to dream that. There's a famous orator and writer that I've been tapped in with lately that I just recently discovered. A lot of y'all probably already knew about him. If you did, shout out to you. But I just recently came across a lot of his work.
Ooh,
and
Alan Watts.
Alan Watts. That nigga Alan Watts.
Alan Watts
cold,
been tapped
nigga.
in. He
that nigga is cold.
Yeah, Alan Watts tapped in for sure.
Alan Watts is cold, nigga. I said, damn, I gotta throw him in a rotation.
Yeah, I've been fucking with him for a minute. Yeah, Alan Watts is cold.
That nigga, he says something that really made me think, like, damn.
He break it deep, but it's simple.
Right.
Yeah.
Like how he was saying, what if all of this is a dream? Like, you know, they say you can control your reality, right? Multiple dimensions and this and all that. What if you're living out every version of yourself, and whatever version you in now is the version that you wanted to live? So like, let's say you homeless. The reason you're homeless is because in this dream, you were wealthy. You was the opposite end of the spectrum. You did everything you could do with wealth. Now you want to experience the opposite end of this spectrum, the extreme. Well, what it feel like to be broke? What it feel like to be in prison? What it feel like? So every dream that you dreaming, you're controlling, but you in the dream so deep, you don't know you in the dream. So he said, what if you watching this right now and this is the dream that you chose? Because like you were saying, practice before you go to sleep, remembering the word when you wake up. And then to go from remembering the word to, okay, well, let's see if you can do this in your dream. Like, okay, tonight I want to eat a pepperoni pizza in my dream. And then eventually you able to control that. And eventually you're able to control your dream so good, you create whatever the fuck you want. So he really was like, what if you in a dream right now and you just ain't woke up? I said, damn, that's deep as fuck.
I mean, they say everything is life is but a dream. But even on different extents, I've seen like other people break down and talk about like, you chose everything. And not necessarily saying, because people be like, man, why would I choose this type of life? Why would I choose to go through this? Why would I choose to go through that? And I still don't know the full understanding by that, but I do get what they saying. Like I tell people all the time, your spirit might have been here before, whatever the case was. But before you get here, you make a choice. You choose your parents. They say you choose your parents and everything else on a deeper level, and you chose to go through these experiences that you're going through. Now it's up to you. How can I say, like life is one big school, basically, I should say. Life is one thing just to learn back to the essence of knowing yourself and remembering what you were. It's like you come back here, the spirit been here, but you're supposed to learn again to move society forward faster. So you have to relearn, but you forget everything. Like you already been to school before, but you forget everything, but it slowly starts to come back. Some people just get it back faster.
That's what he was saying about the dream.
This is where they start succeeding, learning, because they learning beyond the physical. Most people only think through the five senses. People don't really go through the spiritual side of it. And life is more spiritual than it is physical. Anything that comes from your mind, because it comes from a thought first, has to come from the spiritual entity. So I think that's where a lot of us go wrong and get mixed up in.
Yeah, because he was saying, you don't know you in the dream while you dreaming. So when people say, why would I want to experience that? The way he broke it down was so cold. Because he said, what if I gave you the power to be anything you wanted to be right now, this second? What would most people naturally be? I want to be rich. I want to be wealthy. Okay, cool. Here you go. You're rich, you're wealthy. Now you got the power to buy anything you want. Okay, cool. You bought everything you ever wanted. Now you got the power to travel anywhere you ever wanted to travel. Cool. You traveled everywhere you wanted to travel. So once you've done everything you ever wanted to do on your bucket list, once you've bought everything you ever wanted to buy and have gone everywhere you ever wanted to go, where do you go from there? what do you do to fulfill the constant need to be fulfilled as a person? Well, that's where you go to the opposite end of the spectrum. Or you might get corrupted. Okay, cool. I can't buy nothing. I can't go nowhere. Nothing else excites me. Now I want to experience power. Now I want to control people. Let me see if I can get society to do this. And then you might start with having society do good things. And then once you reach that extreme end of the spectrum of that side of the dream, now you want to get them to do, let me see what's the worst stuff I can make people do. And then he was just saying, like, maybe everybody in one big dream just experiencing different realities pretty much. I was a millionaire here. I was a bum there. I was a war vet here. I was a coward here. I was straight here. I was gay here. Like, I had two parents here. I was an orphan here. You experience so many different things. You're trying to experience literally everything. But life is but a dream. I said, damn, that's cold as fuck. The way you got to hear the way he break it down. The way he break it down is so methodic and melodic. It was cold.
Alan Watts is a great thinker. He was a great thinker. He definitely opens up your mind to expand it a little bit. Now, even though that can sound a little crazy what he's saying, I'm still open-minded enough to understand what he's saying, even if I agree or disagree. But he has a lot of valid points. Like, Alan Watts has a lot of valid points. So shout out to him, man.
Yeah, man. You gotta still sharpen steel. So instead of scrolling and getting TikTok brain, listen to some of these great orators, man. They got a lot of game that'll keep your game tight. And these are people from times where you would think we more advanced now. You would think we smarter now. I'm starting to think we dumber now. People are dumber now. Because when I listen to people of his generation and before, they was way wiser. They was way more up on their game. Even if you go to biblical times, just the bars that these people were dropping, the jewels, the lifetime jewels that they was dropping. Even if you go to the ancient African proverbs and shit like that, like, damn, they was wise beyond belief.
Yeah, they was wise because they was really into the human experience. Nowadays, it's more just about what you got, more materialistic stuff. That's what I mean. Like, it's only the five senses. Okay, your material, most of the world is plastic, it's material. You don't connect on no deeper levels. People understanding, they confuse too much stuff. It's too much. Sometimes too much information ain't good for everybody.
Right.
Because you don't know how to even be who you are no more. And then they was in tune with more of the stuff. You more in tune with the sun. The weather probably wasn't messed with as much. You more in tune with yourself. You more in tune with nature. Y'all gotta think about that. Nigga, they cut down all the trees in your cities. For what reason? They don't want you to connect to the oxygen because the oxygen, the oxygen is life. The deeper breaths you take, the more you inhaling, the more oxygen you getting, the more life and energy you're putting out. And that's everything. Everything requires your energy. And keeps you in good energy. You can just go. You go for a hike. You go walk in the woods, in the trees, by the beach. You go do certain things. You feel different. Fact. That's why when you go out the country to them places, you feel different.
You feel way different.
They not chopping none of that down. The energy is just different.
You out there in the rainforest, you feel different. Then you go down that rabbit hole about the giant trees, right? They're saying they chop them down, where a lot of these so-called mountaintops, if you look at them from the sky view, it looked like a tree stump. And they were saying that that's when people was the most tapped in with 100% of their brain, where we could communicate with telepathy. We can levitate items and float and do all type of wild, crazy shit because, like you said, we was more tapped in with nature. Think of like a Wi-Fi signal. The trees with the oxygen is like Wi-Fi for us. And I know firsthand because I done been in a rainforest. I done been in the forest. And I'm telling you, that air is different.
Yeah,
you feel completely different.
And people still communicate telepathically. It's all that stuff when you think of somebody and they call you, that's not a coincidence.
Bingo.
You had a thought that sent the signal and it sparked there and it came back to you in whatever form.
Facts.
Or you could think about certain things. You could think about some food or something. Somebody walk in, they might have what you think. I was just thinking about this. And it might not always happen immediately, but sometimes it does happen or they pop up. I don't know why they call it speaking of the devil, but
but see, that's you know what? That's cold.
That's crazy.
Speaking of the devil, they demonize your ability to do that.
Right, and that's a godly ability.
And it's a godly ability.
Yeah.
That's right.
That's
See, damn, you just sparked my mind with that because
That's
I never thought
crazy.
of that saying.
But they do that with a lot of things that they want to know, but they don't want you to know. So of course we have to deem it as evil or something else. So
Oh, speak of the devil. What you mean, speak of the devil? Nigga, I was
right.
just thinking about bro.
This somebody you happy you see. Yeah.
Because we do it on the show all the time. We giving takes,
Right.
and you like, motherfucker, I just thought of that.
Right. Nigga, even when you just brought up what's the name, I knew he was talking about, but I didn't know who he was talking about.
Right. Because I was looking it up.
That was a guess.
Right there,
Yeah.
live on the show.
Yeah.
Same thing. When you brought up what's the name? Damn, you did it earlier in the show too. I gotta run the footage back. I'm like, nigga, I was just thinking that.